day when I was down, there was no water in close at all. It was just all stones. There is an extra, at least 2, maybe 2.5 foot on this river. There has to be. I'll put some footage in of what it looked like the other day when I came down on my bike, because all that area over here was just gravel. Oh, this is looking good. This is looking good. Happy days. Well, I've just been down and had a wee look at that weir up close, and there is a couple of, probably 2.5 foot of extra water on, slightly coloured as well. So I'm really excited because this could be a good night for a barbel. I'm going to get myself down here and I'm going to set up in an old peg that I haven't fished for a long time. The reason I haven't fished it is because the river has been so low. So half of the river in front of me was just gravel, dry gravel. But with that extra rain, there's a couple of foot on. So I'm going to go down there and I'm going to set up and hopefully I'm in for a good night. So this is my first rod. It's a very strong barbel rod, and that comes down to, I've got 2 little float stops at the back, and that'll catch any debris. And then I've got a sliding, running lead, like so. Then I've got a little buffer bead, and that'll help with the boom effect. And then I've got a quick change bead, and that's simply it. So here I have a couple of rigs ready to go on, both using 10mm halibut pellets. And I've actually got my very own homemade paste in here as well. It absolutely stinks of spicy sausage, garlic and tuna. It absolutely reeks. It's perfect for here, especially with this extra bit of water. The barbel will be on the hunt, so this is going to be fantastic. I'll just give you a look at it. Look at that stuff. Absolutely gorgeous. And it absolutely reeks. My hands are going to be pink now. Ooh, it smells. That's going to be perfect for today's session. So I'll just clip on my hook length. I'm using a very long hook length. Actually about 4 foot. And that way I don't need any back leads. So here we have the hook bait. And you can just see little 10mm halibut pellet. Perfect. And then a big long hook length, 4 foot long. And it's just tied, it's just connected with a quick change bead. And I just tied a little loop in the end and it just slides into the quick change bead. So you just slide it in like so. Perfect. And now for the special ingredient. A big dollop of paste. I'll just come up a bit closer so you can see this. Flatten it out in the center of my hand. And I press my bait into it like that. And then I just close it over. Like so. Press it in firm. What I like to do is wiggle it about so you can just see the hook showing. Like so. And that means if you do get a pickup straight away, before the paste actually dissolves, you're going to hook into the fish. I've actually lost fish by covering up the hook point before. There is benefits to covering the hook point up if you're fishing in a very snaggy, weedy place. Cover it up. There you go. That's perfect. Time to cast this out, and we're fishing already. Happy days. my second rod is virtually identical. So it's another strong rod. What's this one? This one's a 2-pound test curve rod. So it's quite strong, just like the other one. I'm using a good chunky reel with a free running function on it. So I'll keep that open and I'll show you. See, if a barbel takes your bait, it's going to peel off like that freely. We have a little swivel, a link swivel, which I'll clip a weight onto. And then I have a buffer bead. And again, a quick change bead. Quick change beads, they come in 2 parts, like so. That's it open. There's a fish just jumping behind me, that's a good sign. But you slide that on the line first and then you just tie that on, just like you tie a hook. And it's got a little recess in there. And that's what the loop at the end of your hook length fits in there, and then you just close it off like that, and then you're fishing. But it's a fantastic way of traveling light. You can have your rod set up and you're fishing within moments really. So here we have, again, 10mm halibut pellet, and that's a very sharp hook, very sharp. And there's a 4-foot hook length, which is braid, coated braid, with the last 6-inch just stripped back straight to the braid. And then that just clips on to the quick change bead. Very simple. Little loop, and you just fits into the little recess. And these have never let me down, never let me down. Close it off. And then when you're playing the fish, the strength actually isn't in the knot at all, because it's a good way of strengthening your rig. There's no knot. It's not. If I was to tie line to line, that's a weak point. That's not. That's completely strong. And then I'll just slide on or clip on the weight, which is a big Arsley bomb, which is about 3 ounce. 3 ounce is going to be perfect for today. Clip it on, and let's mould the paste around this one. The magic paste. It absolute stinks to high heaven, and the barbel are going to love it, and so are the chub. Happy days. Little pancake in the center of the palm. Press it in. Don't hook your finger like I just did. That's how sharp these are. They just want to grab onto things. Again, just leaving the hook point showing slightly. Like so. That's perfect. Now the breakdown time for these is about, on a fast flowing river like this, probably about 25 minutes. And that's perfect for a bite. So there we go. Let's get this one cast out, and I've got 2 rods fishing. Happy days. Bring on the barbel. The sun's just gone down over them trees. It's getting to that magic time. It's a lovely time to be down in the river. Happy days. Let's go. Roach this. Look at it. A little bar of silver. A little bar of silver. Beautiful little fish. Isn't it gorgeous? Oh, it is. That's gorgeous. lovely river bream. Happy days. That's a gorgeous fish. Lovely. As soon as it went dark, I had that little roach, and then not long after that, I had that lovely big bream, and then I had an absolute clunker of a dace. It was absolutely gorgeous, getting on for £1. Lovely size fish. So time now is 5 to 11. Well, I've been very lucky here to catch my first chub of the 2018 season. And look at that for a fish, for the very first chub that I caught this season. Isn't that gorgeous? Absolutely beautiful. Mint, absolutely mint. That's a beautiful big fish. I can imagine this, when it's full of spawn, would be probably an extra £1, but that's getting on for £3.5, £4. Yeah, definitely say it's a £4-pounder. Here's one last look at her before I slip her back. Gorgeous. Beautiful fish. Big head on it. Look at the head. Big mouth. Beautiful. Well, today is another day, and I had such a good night last night that I decided to come back down to the River Ribble, only this time I'm going to try feeder fishing and in a different location. So tonight I'm having a dusk session for the Barbel. Well, I've come back down to the River Ribble and I've just arrived at the perfect time. Time now, 21:21. So I've got my ground bait, which is going to plug the feeder, which is just ground down trout pellet. I have the feed pellets, which are all mixed pellets, all different sizes. Absolutely stink. I'm actually fishing with a feeder today, so this is the feeder. Cap one side, fill the rest with pellets, and cap the other side. There you have it, a barbel sandwich. Got a 4-foot hook length today, and I'm fishing with 10mm halibut pellet, which is wrapped in my special paste. Spicy sausage, tuna and garlic, and it stinks. It's got a breakdown time of about 25 minutes. Perfect timing for a bite. So here goes. Set up. I've got one rod with me. I've actually brought two, but I've decided to fish with one rod because this is a swim where two herons in competition with each other. So I've decided just to fish with a one rod because I've fished this swim before with two rods and it can get quite frantic and you can get tangled very easily because there's not a lot of room here. But I've decided to fish the one rod. I've got ground bait packed into a feeder, loads of halibut pellets in the centre. It's a 3-ounce feeder and it's holding perfectly. It's a beautiful warm night. I've got a friend who's just a little bit upstream from me and he's only been there an hour and he's already had a double hookup. He's had a barbel and a chub. So it looks like it's going to be a good night. Happy days, just waiting for that there light to come on, and for the tip of that rod to bounce away, and I'm into a lovely fish. So we're just playing the waiting game. I'm enjoying watching these herons. There's about 4 or 5 herons behind me, and they're all competing for the same swim. There's one that keeps circling, and he's landed. We've got 1, 2, 3 herons within 20 meters of each other on the same swim. And one of the 3 has just took on the other 2 and scared the other 2 off. It's much larger as well. Fantastic. So even the birds know it's a good night for the fishing. Come on, you lovely fishies. So there goes the bells for 10 o'clock. Perfect time to catch a barbel. Been fishing for about an hour now, and I've not had any knocks or any indications, so I've just brought the rod in, filled the feeder up again, and just cast out in the same direction, because I know that eventually the fish will move in on top of all that bait that's going in. It is summertime, so there will be a lot of fish around this area. It's a holding area for fish in the summer, so I know it's only a matter of time before the fish actually move in and find a bait. So I'm sitting here patiently waiting. Time now, just gone 25 past 10, so just over an hour I've been here. But that's why I come down just for dusk, because this is when the fish usually switch on. So I'll probably fish for another 2 or 3 hours, and in that time I'm hoping to land a decent sized chub and a decent sized barbel, but we'll see. They're definitely banging away at that feeder. There's probably a big shoal of fish. It's absolutely full of flies and midges tonight, as you can see in front of the camera. Okay, so the little knocks have stopped. Well, that's a good sign. Usually when the little knocks stop, that's because the big fish have moved in and scared them all away. Just going to pick up the rod, hold it in my hand, do a bit of touch leathering. Cool. Yep, fish on. Well, I've been very lucky to catch this lovely chub touch ledgering as well. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you very much. You made me a happy man. Let's get you back. this is what we'll come to the Ribble for. A nice big Ribble barbel. And there you have it. Look at this. It's still very lively because it's been resting in the net. But look at that beauty. Now isn't that just a lovely fish? Absolute gorgeous fish. Beautiful. Thank you, Mr. Barbel. Happy days. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to slip this one straight back into the Ribble. That's great. Chub. Unless it's swimming towards me.
Alright.
Yeah, but anyway, my brother got that £20 carp. I had nothing all day, and then he had to go to football. It was about tea time.
Yeah.
So he says, I'll see you later, Ian. I went, right, I'm going to wait 15 more minutes. And then mine screamed off, and I had a £16 carp.
Really? Right.
Oh, that was swimming towards me. It is a ball.
For another run, John.
It makes it good, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
It's only a small one.
Was it Chub or Barbel?
It's only a chub.
Chub, yeah. All right,
Oh, it's not a bad size. It's about £3.
Yeah.
That's a cracker chub. Yeah, that's a chub of a lifetime. Trust me, that is a chub. It is a chub of a lifetime. Some people never catch a £5 chub.
Right, I'll catch you again.
Right, all the best, alright, Mark. There she is. See you later, buddy. Well, I've just had that barbel. Rod screened off again. I thought it was another barbel, but it wasn't. It was this lovely big long chub. Well, that's gorgeous, isn't it? It's beautiful. Very similar to the last one I caught. Still got a bit of life in her. Yeah, but I'm gonna give it a kiss and slip it straight back into the Ribble. Beautiful. Well, it's another chub. So I've been lucky enough to catch another chub. So that's chub number 3 tonight, and it's probably the smallest one, but boy did it go for a screaming run. Oh dear. That's lovely. Time to slip this one straight back into the Ribble, like the rest. Mwah. Beautiful. Now I'm not lying, I've literally cast this one in, and before it even hit the bottom, I set the rod down and off it went. Unbelievable. There must be a queue of fish just waiting for that feed. We just show you the feeder when I get back. It'll still be full. I think it might be a chub. Seconds to catch that. And the feeder is actually empty. But that was seconds. It took me seconds to catch this chub. Unbelievable. And there you go. Oh. What's that? Chub number 4, chub number 5. I think this could well be chub number 5. So that's 5 chub and a barbel. Fantastic session. Beautiful. What a beautiful fish. Well behaved as well. Let's just slip this one straight back into the Ribble. Happy days. Thank you, Mr. Chub. I'm going to put you straight back. This can't be true. This can't be happening. Every time I cast this rod in, feeder hasn't so much as touched the bottom of the river, and I'm getting fish. On this occasion it looks like the fish has dropped it, but there is a lot of activity on the riverbed right now. I've been hitting the same spot every single time. See all them pellets, they'll be all over the bottom, and all the fish will be gathering round and banging the feeder and competing for food. And that's what I've created. An absolute frenzy. I can't even walk away from the rod. Well, that fish has definitely dropped it, but I'm going to keep my eye on that because, like I said, it's a feeding frenzy down there. And I'm sure in amongst all them hungry, big-mouthed chub, there's bound to be the odd Mr. Whiskers or even Mr. Carp. Now that would be something, catching a carp. I haven't caught a carp from this stretch. And there is a lot of big carp around here. Come on! I've had such a great evening here on the Ribble this evening. I've had plenty of fish, lots of chub, and would you believe it, before yesterday I hadn't even caught a chub this season. And what are we into? 2 days of fishing, and I've had seven chub. I was beginning to believe that the chub had all disappeared, but after tonight I know that's not the case. They must all be just packed up in different stretches, you're more concealed because of the low conditions. So fantastic, what a great session, but it's time to definitely call it a night. Time now is, well, it's not far off 2 o'clock in the morning, so it's a nice half an hour walk home through Brockholes Nature Reserve, so I'm looking forward to that, and I'll hopefully see some owls. I've got my high powered torch so I can check up in the trees and see if I can see any wildlife on the way home. But it's going to be a lovely walk home, knowing that I've caught a nice barbel and loads of lovely fish, loads of chub, and they all went back into the river and all safe and strong and hard fighting fish. Happy days. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to put a like on there and also comment, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.